Hello and welcome to Brave Souls Rewind, a show where I 200 older characters so you don't have to. Today I'll be covering one of the very first characters, as well as one of the very first seasonal characters, the White Day version of Gin. Not to be confused with the Cacao Society one. This one is the one that's currently for sale, and though he hasn't been resurrected yet, that doesn't necessarily mean he's useless, right? Let's find out. Now as always, I started with the normal attack damage build, and man, I thought Sajin's was bad. This guy is terrible. As far as speed and range go, he lacks both. If he had at least one of those two, then maybe it'd be a little bit salvageable. Sajin kinda lacked this as well, though at least he had a bit of damage and a decent killer. Gin does not. He has a really low attack, and he has a captain killer, meaning that the damage that you're seeing now isn't gonna improve much. Sure, you can build him with a higher attack and better links, but with a captain killer, it's only really gonna do a decent amount on captains. I also found that I had to dodge a lot in between attacks. Much like Sajin, his attacks didn't really stagger the enemies, so I had to strike twice, dodge, and then strike again a few times. So yeah, this build is not viable. Next up is the strong attack damage build, and this Gin doesn't have the highest SP either. It's only 6 points higher than his attack, but at least he has frenzy. And for the most part, his strong attacks were able to take out some of the lower enemies pretty quickly and in one shot. The problem is they didn't have the best range, and for some of the tougher enemies it took several strong attacks. Plus after he's done with his strong attacks, he's only left with his normal attacks, which is terrible considering it wasn't even a good build when it was a normal attack build, since at that point you really only have a plus 20 bruiser. Now you can clear raids using this build, but it's gonna take you a while. If you don't mind being patient, you can totally do it, but as for it being viable, I'm gonna say no. Next up is a strong attack recharge build, a build I was actually expecting good things from, because Gin himself has a strong attack recharge link, and this definitely helped with spamming strong attacks, and spam strong attacks I did. Unfortunately, they didn't do that much damage. Usually even these attacks are able to take out some of the minor enemies, and while it did happen from time to time, I did find that most of the time I had to use more than one strong attacks to take care of even the smaller enemies. I probably enjoyed this build the most, just because I like spamming strong attacks, but I'm still gonna say it's not a good build. Again, you can complete a raid with this build, it's just gonna take a lot more effort, a lot more strong attacks, and probably a lot more time. Finally, we have the hybrid build, a build I didn't have any hope for. After all, his normal attacks sucked even when they were powered up, and his strong attacks still lacked range, since there's currently no way to increase that. But somehow I actually found this build to be just a little more viable than the rest. Since Gin still has his own link, an extra strong attack recharge link was all it took for his strong attacks to actually do decent damage and come back fast enough. And while his normal attacks still bothered me when I had to use it, at least it picked off the remaining health of the enemies relatively quickly. I'm not saying this is a build you can take on any co-op. Definitely not something you want to take in inheritance zones or droplet zones. But overall, compared to the others, it's not bad. It's also not good, but not bad. Bleep bloop. Now unfortunately, this Gin is no longer usable. Maybe that last build, maybe on some raids. But other than that, it's probably best just to wait till he's resurrected to actually max him out. I know they haven't resurrected any seasonal characters yet, but I have a feeling they're gonna start relatively soon. Maybe with the OG summer characters.
蒼天に座せ挽回大紅蓮昇輪丸
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what other characters you want to see in a rewind.